This is not just another golf podcast. This is Golf Underground. This is Golf Underground. We just happen to be the third funniest podcast in golf. We interview PGA Tour pros, Hall of Fame athletes, rock stars, business leaders. Sure, we talk about golf, but we have fun. All right, let's do it. Welcome to Golf Underground. Now your hosts, Wardo, Sully, and MLB Hall of Famer, George Brett.
Thanks for joining the Golf Underground. Now, the Golf Underground is brought to you by Star Companies, KC. Experience a more energy-efficient and comfortable home with Star's insulation services. Regain Functional Medicine. Feel better, function better, move better, and look better. Regal Distributing, specializing in the distribution of food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. Cowell Insurance, providing brokerage and risk management services for over 25 years. Sono Orthopedics, care plans backed by research and clinical results tailored perfectly to individual needs. Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia, where you'll score a double eagle on your next car or truck. Sheridan's Unforked, eating good and feeling good. Lewisburg Ford, nobody sells more F-150s than Lewisburg Ford. And Celebrity Greens, put a custom PGA caliber putting green in your backyard for the ultimate golf experience. Now, onto the program.
Hey, welcome to Golf Underground. We are back in the stable with my boys who I haven't seen in 2 months. My boy Wardo.
Hi.
Hi. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Old family member George. He's been traveling the globe. He's in
so
Crested
have you.
Butte.
So have you.
Huh?
So have you.
I don't go to fancy. Well, I guess I did go to a fancy place. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Right? George, if you can't be rich like you just hang out with rich friends.
That's my goal too.
Well, you know, I mean, you're
So
doing
I'm hanging out with Wardo.
You're doing it, Papa.
And that's dumb.
Papa Wardo. Well, we got a great show for you. Of course, it's been an interesting few months as our boys, the Hillier brothers, who are Jayhawks through and through via New Zealand, have had a pretty successful year down at the PGA Latin America Tour. And, of course, the big thing happened, Charlie. Top 5. He gets into the Korn Ferry Tour. Big things are happening. He was scrapping around with his little brother down there for a little bit. Of course, Harry had a hell of a year. So we thought it was time to bring in one of the creators of this talent, the molder, the Michelangelo of New Zealand golfers. Introduce Coach.
Coach Bermel, it's been how many years at Kansas now?
I'm starting year 12 now. So, yeah.
Came from Colorado State. Talk through some of the best players you've coached over the years.
You know, there's been a few. Zach Johnson, obviously, at Drake, has had a great career. Ryder Cup captain this year. Was actually the number 2 man on his high school team and number 2-3 guy at Drake. So what a career he's had out on the PGA Tour. Coach Jason Knutson up at Iowa State. Played on the Asian Tour for a number of years. Did really well. Martin Laird at Colorado State. I think he's been on the PGA Tour now 15 years, won 4 times. And then Chase Hanna at Kansas, DP World Tour. Probably one of the best competitors I've ever coached. You know, when he played, it was a lot like when George ran out of the dugout when he had the bat tar. He was
Pine tar, not bat tar. Pine tar.
Pine tar.
Pine tar.
Yeah. Whatever that was.
Harry doesn't know what that means.
No, he doesn't. And then, of course, Team Hillier. Recruited Charlie, and unfortunately I had to take Harry.
Consolation package.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, I got good news and bad news. I'm coming, but you got to bring my brother too.
Which
Hillier
was more of a challenge to coach?
That's kind of a loaded question.
But easy to answer.
Yeah, you're right. You know, brothers, obviously, completely different personalities. Harry runs at a little different pace than Charlie. Charlie would actually listen. He got himself sideways a couple times, but he would actually listen. And then after Harry tried it his way and it didn't work, then he started listening a little better. But both of them great players, fun to be around. Probably had a little too much fun at times in college, but they both survived, both graduated. Harry, I don't know how he graduated, but he did graduate from the University of Cal.
I got a video I want to show you of Harry in my in my kitchen at about 2 in the morning. No, about 1 in the morning. and he's dancing and he's singing a song and he's pouring wine over his head in my kitchen.
Well, let me step in here, George. we grilled out that day, and we had a little bottle stashed under your grill outside, and it was buttery shards, was it not?
Yes, it was.
And George didn't know how to work his Alexa in his living room, and he goes, "How do you work this thing?" And I'm like, "Hey Alexa," and it goes, "Yes." It starts talking back to me. So I showed him how to use it, and he goes, "Hey Alexa, tell me about George Brett," and then it just goes on this minute-long spiel about how bad he was at baseball.
And then I said, "Tell me about Harry Hillier." And he says, "Doesn't exist." And he will never exist.
The DA's voice kind of popped in.
Classic.
Did George, for the next 3 hours, just talk to Alexa? Tell me how good I was in 91.
Tell me. I woke up at 6:30 and he's still talking.
So, Coach, back to the Zach Johnson thing. I don't think I've ever asked you this, but all right, he's number 2 or 3 on your team, a solid, great player, good player. Did you ever in a million years think he would have the success and or the Masters and now Ryder Cup captain that he had?
No, not at all. But, when I started coaching, and this is, I think, year 32, early on in my career, I was talking to John Means, who was the coach at Minnesota, and he said, if I can give you one piece of advice, he said, if somebody tells you, one of your players said, I want to turn pro after I graduate, don't say they're not good enough. Because at the PGA Tour, nobody tells you you're not tall enough, you don't hit it far enough. If you post the scores, you can play on the PGA Tour. And I remember when he graduated, I said, Zach, what are you going to do? I didn't coach him his senior year. I'd gone to Iowa State. I recruited him and coached him for 3 years. And my wife and I were down at the graduation party. And I said, Zach, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to turn pro. And I about choked on my drink. I'm like, you're the number 3 man at Drake? Wow. And you're going to turn pro. And he did. And, I saw him a couple years later. I said, how long are you going to do this? He said, Coach, when I stop getting better, I'm going to quit. I hate this lifestyle. I hate traveling around the country and driving everywhere. He was playing on the Hooters tour at that time. But he said, I'm still getting better every year. So
that's a good way to look
wow.
at it.
Yeah.
Right? And, of course, I mean, all you had to do was look at the last major and realize that size doesn't really matter, right? It was Harmon.
Right.
I mean, how tall is he? He's
5'6".
It looks like
I dominate that.
yeah.
Well,
You
didn't-
tower over that guy.
Destroy him.
Wasn't he the guy that won Augusta and never went for a par 5 and 2?
Yes.
Didn't he
Zach
lay up
was,
every
yeah.
time?
Zach was, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
how about that? Because those guys are it's incredible.
A bit like David Toms. Remember David Toms? Was it the PGA?
Yeah.
And everyone was going for it. He would lay up, right? And he would get his birdies. He'd get his birdies that way. Hey, I want to go back to something, and I want to go back to this Harry Hillier. We're just, and then we'll stop. We'll stop at this topic. But is there any way you would role play with me, like a typical scenario? Okay, so here it is. All right, you've got practice. It's Tuesday. What time afternoon would the practice be?
About 1 o'clock.
Okay, 1 o'clock. So it's about 12:58. He comes rushing through the locker room door. You got your whistle, your golf whistle,
The foghorn.
Yeah, you're kind of so you're feeling it. All the kids are just like, Coach, I'm ready to go, and here he comes. And so, and I want this as lifelike as possible. Tell me what you're saying to me, and I'm a little frazzled right now.
Yeah. Harry, where in the hell have you been all night?
So, Coach, I had a big exam today, and the library was open all night. And I was there probably 10 to 10:45. I had to go home and shower it up because this is a really important practice to me. And I can't say that in a New Zealand accent. That's just
Sure.
mate.
Harry, why do you want to lie to me? There's 2 reasons you're late, Harry. One, you're the dumbest person I know and you can't tell time, or 2, you don't give a shit. Which one is it?
So, Coach, it's not that at all. I just think you're wrong on this one. I care. I've never felt so in tune with something in my life. You gave me a chance, Coach. mate, you gave me and my brother. I don't want to disappoint him either. So Coach, I'm a liar.
Point well taken.
All right. How close was that?
There was a little more language involved in that, but it was, hey, Harry, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know, Coach. I'm still hammered. What's up?
So you didn't lie.
It depends how drunk I was.
Still. All right. So, Coach, take us way back. How'd you get introduced to the game of golf? Because it's been your whole life, and I don't know if you ever planned for this, but there was that one day where you kind of get introduced to it.
I grew up in small town Iowa, and 9-hole course, no sand traps, 3 par 3s, 3 par 4s, and 3 par 5s. I'm the third of 4 boys. And my dad used to take us out to the golf course, and we would just take off playing golf with sawed-off clubs. I'm the third of 4, so the clubs would just get handed down. And my older brother, John, who's in the PGA program, Club Pro, he was obviously pretty good, and that kind of motivated me. I need to get better to beat John, and I'm a Division III golfer. He was too. He was much better than me, but kind of chased him. And then he got into the PGA, and back then in the early '80s, those assistant pros are working 80 hours a week. Right. They're working Tuesday through Sunday, playing on Monday. Yep. And I knew I didn't want to do that, but unfortunately, kind of similar to Harry, I wasn't really interested in college. So I'm like, I'll be a recreation major. Well, what the hell's a recreation major do? And so I went to grad school just to prolong the agony of getting a job, and was in campus recreation at Michigan, went to Drake, and I ran into the old golf coach who we played against Drake. I went to Central and Pella, and he said, Jamie, I'm going to retire next year. You ought to talk to Lynn King about being the golf coach. And I thought, this is going to be the greatest job ever. I get to play golf every afternoon. This is going to be great. And because that's what my coach did in Division III. And so obviously they hired me as the golf coach, intramural director. And it didn't quite work out that I was playing golf every day.
Right.
So got married, started having kids, and decided I got to do one or the other. I can't do both. So guy at Iowa State retired. I took the job there, worked there a couple years, and then Colorado State for 13, and now year 12 at Kansas.
Well, the Iowa State job had to be a big – that's a big leap, though.
It was. We had a good team at Drake. We made the NCAA finals, won the conference. First time in 90 years in Missouri Valley. So we had a pretty good team, finished 23rd at Nationals. So we had a pretty good team, and that guy retired. And Gene Smith, who just is retiring this year from Ohio State, he was the AD and gave me a shot. And being the most northern school in the Big 12, I'm telling you, is not a very good job.
No, God.
It's tough.
I imagine that'd be tough. All right, so
Oklahoma State. I would pick Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. Oklahoma would be a good
unlimited money, boosters,
yeah.
good players.
Hey, what gets better in each one of these stops?
We were quite happy at Colorado State there 13 years, and we were raising a bunch of money, but I just felt like we were raising money just to stay up with the Power 5 schools. And when I was at Drake and Iowa State, we came down to KU and played in the Fall Invitational, and I thought Lawrence was a really cool town. I used to officiate basketball, high school basketball, and officiated in Iowa Falls with Nick Collison. Dave was the coach and the AD, and Rory Williams was up there. And he's taking all the Iowa players, and I'm like, but it's the logo, it's the colors. Yeah, right. It just kind of catches your eye. Sure. And when we were down here playing, I just felt like, wow, Lawrence is a really cool town. And so I had my eye on that job for a long time.
Yeah. Boy, that's a good spot to end up. Now, it was Woodland. Was he playing a little basketball at the time?
Unfortunately, I had to coach against Gary, and it didn't go well.
Really?
Yeah, they were
In basketball?
no, in golf.
Yeah.
Oh, because you were still at Colorado State.
Yes, I was, and
Because you guys went to Pasatiempo every year, right?
we did. When Ross would bring him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're coaching KU, and you've been there 12 years, so you coached against Victor Hovland at Oklahoma State. Who are some of the guys that you coached against that you went, oh my God, these guys are going to be a success?
Yeah.
These guys are going to tear up the PGA Tour.
How about Hovland this
Was
weekend?
there anybody?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, most recent grad was Ludwig Aberg from Texas Tech.
Who?
Ludwig Aberg.
Tall
He's-
dude.
Never heard of him.
The
He's
tall
in-
dude that was leading
You'll
the
be
British.
betting on him for Augusta next year,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay. Will he be
I'll
my
take this
long
guy.
shot? Will he be my long shot?
He'll be your long shot. It'll probably be fifth in the world.
Okay.
I thought, obviously, Victor Hovland was really good. I thought Christopher Ventura from Oklahoma State was really good. Scotty Scheffler, obviously,
Where did he go?
he went to Texas. He finished second in the Big 12.
What about Hayden Wood? Hayden's a friend of mine.
Yeah, he was a nice player.
Yeah.
I didn't think he hit it as far as Scheffler or Victor, somebody like that. So, I think this is a power game. So those are the guys that come to mind. Obviously, I thought Joel Kreibel was really good at Stanford. He played with Tiger. Those guys were good. So there's been a lot that they kind of stick out a little differently. And Victor's one, Scotty, obviously. But, Scotty did finish second to Chase Hanna in 2017.
Did he really?
He did.
Wow.
He did.
That's got to give Chase a little.
Now, did you
He's gotta sit in
caddy
his
for
brain a
him,
little.
or was it Andy?
I'm done caddying. I'm over 2 on the bag for this guy Chuck over here. No, I went out. He got in the PGA Tour event out in Tahoe, so I went out there and
Who? Chase. Yeah.
worked with him for a couple days, and so let's hear about your match. Speaking of Hovland, so he just won. So you had a match against Hovland in the Big 12 champion or the Big 12 match play. Let's talk about that.
You want my view of it or Harry's?
I want your
Both.
view.
Let's
start
I want your view, and then we'll hear Harry's side.
I'm telling
How
you.
lucky he
it
was.
It's going to be the finish, isn't it?
It was a battle. I kind of caught up to him on hole 10, which would have been about their 7th or 8th hole. Harry hit it in there at about 4 feet. And I drive up. Harry gets out of the cart and he goes up and picks up his ball. I'm like, Harry, he gave you that putt? He said, no, Victor just made it from the fairway.
No.
So I lost.
Are you shitting me?
No, it was quite a match, and obviously it came down to the last match for the team as well. And Drew Shepard was playing Hayden Wood, and obviously Harry had Victor. And it came down to the 3rd hole, which is a dogleg left par 4, kind of drivable. Harry hits it about 70 yards right into the trees. Victor's right down the middle.
Shocker.
Yeah. And, I mean, there were balls flying everywhere. Hayden hits it on. Drew's in the hazard. Drew chips up. So we got 2 matches going, and both of them can flip at the time. And I think Victor won the hole with a 6. Yeah.
Did he really?
Harry 3-putted from about 10 feet.
I had 120 something meters, and I did it over a tree. The only place I couldn't go was long, so I grabbed my 56 and I opened this thing up and I hit it, and I was like, "Fuck, it's it." And it just sails in the back hazard, and I chipped it on. It kind of run down the slope, 10, 15 feet, 3 putts. Thank you very much.
No way.
Shook hands. Now he's winning.
So you had to be a freshman at the time, right?
Sophomore.
I think it's sophomore.
Sophomore.
Harry didn't play in the fall his freshman year. He had
some issues.
He had some
football
issues.
season. I mean,
I had an appointment with the Jayhawks Cafe.
Yeah.
You and Gary Woodland. I think he sat out 3 of the first 5 tournaments as a freshman.
Worked out fine for him.
well, I mean, that's pretty cool, though. What do you shoot? A 61 this weekend, right? Hovland. Just come back on Scotty. It was
First round he's ever played this year.
Yeah, right. Well, and did you hear the interview question after? Some knucklehead. these interviewers are just, so, how did you let the tournament slip away from you?
Who, they asked Scheffler
They
that?
asked Scheffler this.
Well, the guy shot 61.
And that was his answer. He was like, are you an idiot?
Yeah.
Really? He said, I played great. You're nuts. But for you, that's got to be pretty cool to look back and say, all right, let's be honest, Hovland's one of the best right now. And, you could, but now you as a coach and like a developer of men, both skill and, golf skill and life skills, is what's that gap between who Hovland was on that day between what he was on this Sunday? I mean, because that's a pretty big leap there, and that's got to make you curious. What are the things that he did mentally or physically to get him there?
I think one of the things for Victor, obviously, he just keeps getting better. I think his short game has come a long ways. He didn't chip the ball, I didn't think, very well for a high-level amateur at the time. Hit it really well. Awesome golf course management, golf IQ, very, very intelligent out there. Didn't really give much shots away. But the level he's playing at now is just incredible. Obviously, he shoot 61 on that golf course this past weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, one more question on the D3 part. Is there such a huge difference between D3 golfers and D1 golfers? Because you saw them.
Yeah. I think the big thing is in Division I, everybody on the team's really good. In Division III, you may have one or two guys.
Right.
I think there's been one, maybe two Division III golfers play on the PGA Tour. So there's just not the depth that you have in Division I, per se, as opposed to Division III.
What advice would you give to a kid that's coming out of school that might not be good enough to play D1, and he's kind of surfacing around? Like, how does that kid market himself?
I think the best advice I always give young kids is go to a school where you can play. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get better by sitting at home, practicing, hitting 500 range balls. Yeah, you may be able to develop some technique, but I think you get better when you only have one ball and you're competing. And if you're really good and you're beating everybody, coaches will find you. But they can't find you if you're the 11th man on a 10-man roster at a really good school, because you're not getting any exposure. You're not getting in the heat of battle, and I just think competing is so important.
Has the transfer portal really changed the landscape for the kid? You hear from the kid more than anyone, or the kid's parents, that the transfer portal is making it harder for a kid to go to Kansas or whatever. Talk through what that looks like.
Well, I don't think that really matters. I think COVID with the extra year kind of stalled out recruiting with some, kids that are kind of in between. We couldn't take chances on those kids because our roster was still full, with your fourth and fifth year guys trying to develop, trying to get in that lineup. So, I don't think that's a big deal. The transfer portal, I don't like it per se, because we get a bunch of developmental guys and we develop them, and hopefully by their second, third, fourth year, they become a pretty good player. And obviously we had one picked off by Oklahoma a couple years ago, and I just don't think that's what the transfer portal is about. It's false promises, NIL money, all the BS that comes with that. I'm not a big fan of it.
How are the facilities at KU compared to other schools in the league?
I think it's pretty good. Obviously we built a new indoor-outdoor practice facility. We have a 30-acre range, so you can get better there. Any day of the week, it's open to the men and women on the team. So we have some indoor stuff with indoor putting, simulator. I think if you want to get better, you can get better regardless of the weather. Is the weather perfect? No, it's not Florida. It's not Texas. It's not Arizona. But, there's a lot of PGA Tour guys that come from northern schools, and some that live in northern states. Martin Laird lives in Denver, Colorado now.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
pumps out some golfers, right?
Absolutely.
Wisconsin,
North Dakota, South Dakota. There's been Omaha. Gacheski's going to be back on the PGA Tour at 48 years old. He lives in Omaha.
That's crazy.
So it can be done. It's probably more difficult. It's not as convenient, but you can still get better.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's take a commercial break. We come back. Let's talk a little bit about building a team and keeping a team together, right? And because you have all different personalities, even when in the same household, you've got different personalities. And when we had Coach Self on, maybe it was a year and a half ago, right, George?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, we asked that question, same question, and his answer was very interesting, right? His answer was, you really don't treat everyone the same. But I want to get your take on it, right? Because being a great communicator has got to be a huge part of being a great coach. So come on back. We're with Jamie Bermel. He's a University of Kansas Jayhawk coach. You're on a Golf Underground in the stable.
Hey guys, Sully here to tell you about my friends at Regal Distributing. Now, for more than 60 years, Regal Distributing Company has been helping customers grow their business by providing the right food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. And man, do they do it right. Because they're smart, which means they're able to offer expertise and in-depth product knowledge that helps customers like you think about your business in a whole new way. And what's the outcome? Well, they're going to help you improve your efficiency. They're going to reduce your cost, and they're going to help you maintain your quality, and all by providing consistently excellent service. So to learn more, check out Regal Distributing. National reach with a local touch. Go to their website at getregal.com. That's getregal.com.
Guys, as the male body ages, testosterone levels steadily decline, and your body's become increasingly unable to produce healthy levels of the primary male hormone testosterone. At Regain Functional Medicine, we can help you regain your quality of life with testosterone replacement therapy. TRT improves brain function, sleep cycles, heart health, performance, and overall body composition so you can feel better, function better, move better, and look better. Visit us today at ifeelmuchbetter.com. Regain Functional Medicine, with locations in Lawrence and Leawood. Regain is better.
Hey, Brian Sullivan here, and I've got a tip for you. You've got to head to Unforked. It's an amazing restaurant. What I like about these guys is they promise to buy and support seasonal, local ingredients first. And I love the fact that they source from smaller, family, GAP certified, or organic farms, prime-going regions, artisan producers. All I'm getting at is, if you like fresh stuff, Unforked is the place to be. And like they say, fork or no fork, you can be sure you're getting the highest quality, socially responsible ingredients possible. And not to mention, it's delicious. So whether you're out south or downtown, stop by Unforked for a delicious and healthy meal. Sheridan's Unforked. Honest, clean food.
Cowell Insurance Services is your leading program administrator for workers' compensation. They're dedicated to meeting the unique challenges of the insurance industry and assisting employers in reducing their costs. CIS has provided insurance claim and loss control services to various industries, including trucking, construction, retail convenience stores, and healthcare, as well as public entities for over 30 years. They work with both retail agents and industry clients, or a combination of the two. If you're tired of fighting the rising costs of premiums and claims, give Cowell Insurance Services a call. Their dedicated staff is ready to find you the best insurance option at the most competitive price. They can help to define or enhance your safety program in order to move you in the right direction in reducing your claim and premium costs. Contact Cowell Insurance Services today, 816-214-4070.
Hey, Brian Sullivan from the Golf Underground here with a little good news. And that good news is that even double-digit handicappers like me can occasionally make a double eagle. All right, maybe not on a golf course, but even guys like me can score when buying a new car or truck. I'm talking about 2 stores, 2 brothers, and 4 generations, treating customers just like family. I'm talking about our buddies at Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia. With these guys, you'll always score 2 under, with double the inventory and double the customer satisfaction. That's the Bob Sight Double Eagle. Now, Bob Sight offers a wide selection of vehicles and promise to make the car buying process as quick and as hassle-free as possible. Now, whether you have poor credit, no credit, or maybe a first-time car buyer, you can trust Bob Sight Ford. And Bob Sight Independence Kia will get you into the car or truck you choose with professionalism and attention to your needs. So go visit our buddies at bobsight.com, but only if you're looking for a vehicle that makes you feel like a U.S. Open champion.
Hey, welcome to Golf Underground here in the stable with the entire family. Charlie, Wardo, George, Coach Jamie, and Harry. You ever get sick of just getting dissed, where they just throw out shit on you? You know, you ever get sometimes it gets hard, doesn't it?
No, it's part
you
of
get
it.
kicked
It's
around.
part of it because I pick it up and throw shit right back at you. So don't you worry.
You do. It's hard, you know, because he's
You little midget.
Yeah, little. See, son. Hey, listen, I've been on your side since. It was Coach over here who's been really hard on you. All right, listen, we had
5 years of it.
we had a great first segment with University of Kansas coach Jamie Bermel, and we started a little bit talking about where he came from, Drake, Colorado State, Kansas, and that journey a little bit, and obviously coaching, golf skill, coaching men. You know, we had you on maybe it was 2 years ago again, but we did talk a little bit about your ultimate objective is what. What is your philosophy? What is your objective when guys like this and others with different personalities, maybe the introvert, right? Or even in this family, you've got someone who's more introverted, someone extrovert. How do you handle all of these different personalities? Do you treat them the same? Do you motivate them in different ways?
There's no question you don't treat them the same. Because here's a perfect example. The way I could talk to Charlie on the golf course, I couldn't talk to Harry like that. I could get after Charlie a little bit, and that would motivate him. Harry would just get all pissed off and start moping around and sobbing, got a soggy diaper and just, moping. So it's certainly different. And I think that's the way for a lot of kids. You know, when they come in, they think, I don't know where boys, and they're boys at 18, 19 years old, how they became so smart at 18 or 19 because they have all the answers. And you're trying to give them bits and pieces so, they progress, because ultimately number one goal is to graduate, because you can never take away somebody's degree. Right. They may lose their golf game, they may lose interest and quit playing or go get a job or whatever, but if they have that degree, that's something that they will have for their lifetime. So that's number one goal for me. But two, I think we're trying to turn them into men. How to be accountable, how to own up to their mistakes. Because my lens as a golf coach is a lot different than a lens of a parent. And I've raised three, so I think I have a pretty good idea. But that lens is just a little different. It really wasn't that bad. Bullshit. It was bad. Right. Okay. Right. It was bad. That behavior,
Ready, Jim?
terrible.
Ready, Jim?
Can't wait.
So as you treat these kids, and Harry's a perfect example. Our goal was to get Harry to the golf course on Monday morning for the 36. How he got there through the weekend and what he did on a day-to-day basis was a little different than some other guys, because he was so much more talented than them. So, I don't know how many times I picked Harry because he didn't qualify. I had to pick him. Perfect example, we go to Colonial. Harry's like DFL in qualifying. He couldn't beat anybody. We take him to Colonial, and it's all Big 12 teams, and he finished second place.
Wow.
So I'm like, Harry, did you just find your swing in the last 2 days, or or
Just sober it up, coach.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying.
He's coming on sweating.
That's funny.
No, but what's cool, your philosophy is a lot like Coach Randall would let us. I think you have obviously a lot more structure, but it was a free for all. If you wanted to go beat balls in order to get better, fine. If you wanted to putt and chip, get better, fine. If you wanted to play 36 holes, fine. And everyone kind of did it their own way. I think Vermeer was a ball beater. Chris Marshall was a gambler guy, talks a lot, whatever, George's best friend. But at the end of the day, that's what I loved. And then the other thing I liked about Ross was within reason there was qualifying, what you're alluding to. And then he went to the point system, which is, he called the point system. All right, Harry, you're out. All right, Coach Burns, you're in. George, you're in. So the point system worked well for.
Wait, which is what? Explain that.
Point.
You. So the point system was advantageous sometimes.
George, you've obviously been around baseball forever, and we love making analogies between what you went through, and you talked about going to spring training, right? And,
as a player?
No, more as a coach.
Okay,
right. Now, your role was a little different. You weren't the head manager, but they obviously were bringing you in, one, because you represented the brand, which made him proud, right? There was a little help there. But what did you face when you had the stud, maybe the high draft pick who really thought they knew everything? They just got a fat signing bonus, but you knew you could help them in some way.
I would offer them advice. 99% of the time, they wouldn't listen.
Why?
Their agent, they've been successful thus far. There's a lot of guys. I watch the Royals right now, and I'm going, God, they got to change this guy's swing. Nobody swings like this. But he thinks he's a good player, and they think he's a good player. But nobody swings like this guy in all of Major League Baseball. So it's not going to last. It's not going to last.
Is it long? What do you see?
It's everything. Out of balance. It's like watching, and I'm going to bring this up, Jamie Cork. You guys have played with Jamie Cork. When I watch guys on the PGA Tour, and I play with these guys, and I play with Wardo, I mean, every time they swing, they're perfectly balanced, and they're sitting there and able to hold their pose, That happens to me about 4 times around. And I sit there and I hold it for 25 seconds, and everybody's going, okay, I know you hit it right down the middle.
Get in the cart.
Yeah, exactly. But I do that a lot, don't I? Yeah. I just sit there, and it's like a freaking statue.
Yeah.
Birds can shit on me. That's how long I'm sitting there holding that pose. And there's guys that I watch playing Major League Baseball now. They swing, and they're all off balance. They're falling over the place. It reminds me of Jamie Cork's swing. When Jamie had the reverse pivot and the fall away, and he would tear up the tee box, tear it up with his spikes and his shoes.
Call it the back foot Nancy, just spinning around your right.
I see things, and I just don't think. When I work with Kevin, I don't work with him. I'll work with Charlie sometimes, but I'll never listen to this guy because you know what? I can beat him. I have beat him. We played a match one day at Mission Hills, and it was we went out for 9 holes, and let's play. There was just 2 of us. Let's play a 2-man scramble. I get to hit 2 shots and play my best shot. You have to play your worst shot. I beat him. Can you imagine that? I beat him.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, no shit.
You gave him strokes, too?
No strokes.
Hey, giving him, he would have taken him too.
Yeah, I would have.
Okay, but back just a little bit more on the what you see with the Royals team, which is just not good. So
They got some great young players, and I don't think they're that far away.
All right,
well, give us the story about the father that you gave advice to a player, and then the father.
No, I don't. I mentioned to a kid. I said, I haven't seen you hit a ball to left field all year. Why don't you hit a ball to left field? He said, well, I'm thinking about doing this, and I'm saying, no, I want you to see you hit a ball to left field this year. I'm not going to mention any names. And the father, he shows the dad the text, and then the dad texts me, and then
he's a Major League Baseball player?
I call him. Then I call the dad, and next thing you know, we're talking, and he's going, yeah, I agree with you. But it was, I kind of got caught because you know what? I love the Royals. I mean, look, I've been with the Royals for, I signed with them in 71. So 52 years I've been in this organization. And I've seen a lot of guys that had a lot of promise come up and not make it. And I just try to give advice. And when people don't listen, I kind of get a little pissed. That's all.
Coach, when you're hearing George talk about a Major League professional baseball player whose daddy has to get on with a coach, how do you feel?
I feel about the same, unfortunately. One of the big things we talk about in recruiting is I'm recruiting the player. I'm not recruiting the parents.
Yeah.
This is what we're about. I don't talk to parents about when the kid gets in trouble or misses class or is dragging it in the weight room. I've never called. The only time I call parents for health and safety, and thankfully that has been very few. But that's the day and age we're in. Is we got, and I've had it in recruiting visits where I ask the kid a question and mom answers. I said, I didn't ask you that question. I asked this kid the question.
Can you say that to the parent?
I did. He's not coming
Did
to
he come?
And I won't mention any names because he's a Kansas City kid.
Oh, no.
That's funny. But listen, at the high school level, I mean, of course, I coached something at Rockhurst, and the rule at Rockhurst was it doesn't matter what the sport is, there is no parent who can talk to the coach. Right. It's got to go through it. So it's surprising to hear that at the college level, you still have a little wiggle room there. And who'd have thought at the major league level, you have Daddy who's involved in this? That's wild to me.
The dad agreed with me. The dad and I got along great.
Why did he
Dad came out strong, didn't he?
Pardon me?
He came out strong. Didn't you get a couple threats?
Yeah, and then I finally called him. I said, hey, here's what I'm seeing, and I'm just trying to help your kid out. She said, I agree. So,
yeah. How about
Did he hit it to left field after that?
he's hit a few. Or right field.
so
I mean,
he's-
he could have hit some the opposite way, to right field too. But
Hey, do you ever want to coach coaches, George? Because
No.
Why?
the game, baseball has changed, and I don't know about golf, but I don't even, all you hear about is OPS,
Right.
on base plus slugging. That's all you don't hear about batting averages anymore. And I was a batting average guy.
Yeah.
They used to put the top 10 hitters in the league every day in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even put box scores in the newspaper anymore. So the game has changed. It's launch angle, it's exit velocity. So in other words, what's your ball club or your ball speed coming off the club? Who gives a shit?
Right.
Are you hoping your team win?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just, the game has passed me by, and there's a lot of guys. I go to Cooperstown every year, and there's a lot of major league players that are scratching their head going, what happened to the game we played? What happened to the game we played? And now I'm sure it's like that in golf. Well, you only hit a 260. You can't play on my team. You got to hit a 320, Or Dustin, or your guy Thomas, or no, what's the guy's name? That's the Ryder Cup that never went. Zach Johnson. He won the Masters, didn't go for one par 5 and 2.
Yeah.
And everybody else is going for him, and they're hitting in a raised creek, and they're, blowing it everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
But what's worse about baseball now?
Pardon me?
What's worse about baseball when you're with your buddies at the Hall of Fame? It passed me by. What does that mean?
well,
Which
strikeouts are
parts?
acceptable. Strikeouts are acceptable. They don't care if you strike out 200 times and hit 230. They don't care. Baseball doesn't care anymore. They just I used to strike out, and if I struck out, I'd walk in the back room behind the dugout, and man, everybody would take off because that helmet would be ricocheting off walls. And, I'm wearing metal spikes, and I'm on cement, and every time I throw it, I'm slipping and falling, and then I'm really getting pissed. Then you pick it up and you throw it harder and you fall down again, and then you reach for the trash can, you throw that against the wall, you fall down again.
Hey, then you spill your dip cup on you.
And then you come walking out and everybody's looking at you like, holy shit, he was pissed.
So this is a true story. We're in Scottsdale playing in some event, and Goose Gossage is there, the pitcher that was pitching for the Yankees. He's got this.
You gotta talk about it.
He's got this rolled up.
No, he doesn't roll it up.
That was
He just
rally
has-
fingers.
He just has it coming down.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Like you were in Colorado.
So anyhow,
We were in Arizona.
we walk in to meet Goose Gossage, who was the pitcher during the Pine Tar game. And we walk into this bar to meet him, and he's just flicking off George like this.
Was he really?
Yeah.
He goes, "Fuck you, George. Fuck you,
Hey, I
George."
put you in the Hall of Fame all by myself.
Did he really?
So
But
good.
we're great friends now. I never said a word to him. It's funny, in baseball, you play against these guys for years and years and years, never say a word to them. Then all of a sudden, 5 years out, you get inducted in the Hall of Fame, you go there, and all of a sudden, you're best buddies. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, do you think that's one thing that changed? Is it a little softer? And then I want to tie it back
It's
to golf,
softer.
too.
I mean, I would like to see some, and I understand it to some degree. Back, I think the players promote themselves now more than ever. They hit home runs and they throw the bat and they do the bat toss. You did that back in the 70s and 80s.
You got hit.
You're getting beamed.
Yeah.
You're going to get one right behind the neck.
Yeah.
You're going to get one.
Yeah.
And back then, now if you get kicked out of a game, and let's say you're making $25 million a year, you get suspended for 10 days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Right.
That you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So I think, it's just different.
Can you help me understand this one? A guy gets a double looks back at his
and
he
they have
does
all the signs.
He's got his Macarena. He starts doing the
they
Macarena.
start doing that stuff. The
Like he's never
Dodgers
made a
now,
double.
they all do this stuff.
This isn't
You get
like this,
paid
like
to
this.
freaking hit doubles for crying out loud. You get paid.
Yeah, see, that's
A
soft.
guy gets a base hit. He has all these signals.
Do you know what that means?
You get paid.
What do they tell you it means? You got an inside scoop.
No,
What the hell are all
I
these
don't
things?
ask. I don't ask. I don't
Soft.
ask.
They're soft. Are they getting
It's
soft
like-
in golf
it's
too?
like,
Are they?
I think so. I think the biggest problem is the cell phone. They get instant gratification. If something goes wrong, who are they texting? Mom, dad, somebody to listen, girlfriend.
Yeah.
And, coach is an asshole. He's this, he's that. And which is probably true. But, there's got to be some sort of accountability because it's a team. It's not about one person.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's the team. We play for Kansas, not for.
Who's got the best wave? After they make a birdie. You know how everybody claps and everybody kind of.
hopefully Charlie Hillier. Hopefully makes more.
Who
next year.
has the best wave? You remember Jim Colbert used to go. He used to do with one of these things, hey, Shaka Bro, mahalo, or whatever.
How about Chichi Rodriguez?
But they all make a putt. They all make a putt, and as they're walking, they all kind of do this. Yeah, thank you.
Zach's caddy would be pretty close with the.
Damon Green had
Birdman.
Oh yeah,
Birdman. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Diggs at the 16th at Waste Management just takes his shirt off.
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah.
Joel Damon. Joel.
Yeah. All right, Coach. What's your take on Live versus PGA now together? And I want to be specific on just the experience, right? So, golf, but louder. Like, I want to know what nerd in Jersey marketing firm came up with that one, right? But then you have, it's pushed the PGA a little bit now to, right? Like, I thought it was cool as hell this week when Ricky Fowler's walking up and, he's talking about the shot and the iron. So it's forced them to be a little bit more creative. But you, as a guy who's lived golf, what are you seeing? Give me your honest take on it.
I don't know enough about Live. Never watched it, so I don't know. Somebody said it's hard to follow because of the shotgun start and the team and where everybody stands. So I know they have a lot of great players there. They're playing for a lot of money. I think it's pushed the PGA to kind of think about their brand and how do we get more fans? How do we grow the game? How do we get our purses bigger? My biggest concern with all Live Golf and the PGA Tour, and I'm kind of partial to this because I have some former players that play on the Latin American tours. Let's get those purses up. Let's make money for those kids they're trying because that competition on the Latin American tour and the Korn Ferry, it's really good.
Yeah.
And there's some really good players that are going to run out of money because they're not making it out there. Right. And I feel bad for those kids because there's some potential PGA Tour guys out there that just run out of money.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Do you really need to make $3.5 million for winning the tournament?
Right.
And then the guy on the Latin American Tour makes $31,000?
And it cost them $20 to get there.
Yes.
Yeah,
And he flew halfway around the world.
And they're fighting for their life every time they go to the golf course.
Yeah.
So the security, there's a lot of things that I disagree with.
But think about that. Hovland won 3.6, I believe, this last week. 2 years ago, I bet that winning check was 1.8. Like
Scotty Scheffler's won $35 million this year.
One?
Is that his prize money?
$35 million.
And so what's his endorsement money?
Oh, I would think every bit of that.
Yeah.
Another 35 with Nike and
20 to 40.
So do they really,
It's a good point, right? So if they're going to pay more, which they have to, I don't know, maybe they're going to pull some of that Saudi money in and create a bunch of hypocrites. You don't know. But if that money goes from one pot to the other, guys like these two are going to be hurt on that.
Let's keep growing professional golf and give these young kids coming out of college, because not everybody's Louis Aberg is going right to the PGA Tour, but there's some damn good players that, they run out of money or run out of opportunities. And I don't think that's right.
Okay, well, I want to ask Charlie and Harry a question, if that's all right. Can I ask them a question?
You can do whatever you want,
What
George.
would you do, Charlie, if you weren't chasing your
Go to
dream, trying to play professional golf? What would you be doing right now from New Zealand?
Stripper.
With no college education.
Painting for my dad, probably.
Pardon me?
Painting for my dad.
Painting for your dad.
Working
How
for
about
dad.
you, numbnuts?
Probably working at our golf shop and golf club in New Zealand.
Yeah. And you guys have an opportunity to chase your dream
Absolutely.
and to be making those purses someday. And you're both very capable of doing that, in my opinion. I played golf with you guys a bunch.
You just mentioned you beat me.
Well, I did. Well, I should be on the tour. You ever won a club championship?
Every time you hit a ball, you go, Harry, you can
You ever won a club championship? No, I have. And I beat this guy in the first round.
You did.
Oh, actually, yes, I have. I've won 2
Where?
in New Zealand.
Yeah, we don't count that.
It's a different world.
Amazing.
I got a
Second place scores like 30 over par.
I got a question for Coach. Yeah, when was the most mad you've ever been at me? And then we'll switch it around and go, when were the most proud you were of me?
Good question. You dug deep on these.
What are you taking my drink for, George?
I got ice. You're all
All
right.
right. I think the most mad I've ever been was when he got a COVID year. Okay?
Period. The end.
So I call Harry. Hey, Harry, you're going to get a COVID year. I don't know if I want to come back. I'm like, what the hell are you going to do? Charlie and I were recruiting him to come back. I mean, this is his only chance, okay? So I'm pissed off. Mom and Dad are pissed off. Charlie's mad. He's like, tell him to go somewhere else. And so we had to do the recruiting process. How much money are you going to give me? I need more money than that. And on and on and on. So I would say that was probably the most pissed off I've been, or your behavior at nationals when you were giving the rules official a hard time and Coach Wilson a hard time and swearing at her. And I had to come up and say, Harry, you say one more word, I'm going to take your ass in, and you're done playing today. And, of course, he shoots 70 after being 3 over after about 4 holes. So that's probably it. The most proud, I think, is when he graduated.
I wrote down some notes today, and I said, and the most proud, and I had in parentheses, graduating. Charlie and I called it then and there.
Because he was a long ways from graduation when he got here. And he kept getting further away from graduation.
Not my 4.0 the last, was it 2 years?
Yeah, at least.
I was pretty good at doing Woodland's homework, writing his papers for him. You know, that was a full-time job in itself. So,
Sure.
Let's do a commercial break. Wardo, take us out.
all right, let's take a commercial break. You're on the Golf Underground, ESPN Kansas City.
Ryan Sullivan of Golf Underground with my favorite orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kevin Whitty from Sano Orthopedics. Hey, Doc, golf season's over. My back is killing me. I know it's football season, so you got a lot of kids coming in, blown ACLs, all sorts of body parts with problems. And then, of course, those baseball players. I know you fix a lot of elbows. Why is Sano Orthopedics the absolute best sports medicine orthopedic group in Kansas City?
Well, if you want to see the guys in town who've had the best orthopedic fellowship training in sports medicine, including training with Dr. James Andrews and Dr. Larry Lemack, come see us. We individualize patients' plans to get them back to that activity and that sport that they love. And we actually care and listen to our patients and follow up with them and make sure that they're getting the results they need.
Okay, and so the 3 things that separate you: number 1, best training; number 2, you specialize in getting people on that field; number 3, you're actually listen. Where can I learn more? Because you got me all in, and I don't really want to get fixed, but it's time.
At SanoOrthopedics.com, 816-525-2840.
Hi, this is George Brett, Hall of Fame baseball player, and I've been playing golf for over 35 years. Hitting the ball far was never my problem, but the closer I got to the greens, that's when my problems began. When I wanted a golf practice area in my backyard, I called Celebrity Greens. They are the industry leader in custom-built synthetic golf greens. These championship caliber, low-maintenance greens roll great,
react like real bent grass, and hold chip shots that check and spin. I absolutely love mine, not only in Kansas City, but also in Arizona. Call the pros at Celebrity Greens at 1-888-507-7960 or visit them online at celebritygreens.com. Practice like the pros or people like me that want to be pros right in your own backyard.
Hey, Brian Sullivan, Golf Underground, with a little tip for you. If you're looking to buy a new Ford, you have to check out my buddy, Jason Gudenkoff at Lewisburg Ford. They've been saving Midwest Ford buyers thousands of bucks for over 40 years because they do business the right way. They sell everything, check this out, for $50 over invoice. That's simple and cheap. And they win a lot of awards. In fact, they won Ford's President's Award 17 times. That's the top Ford award. And they only give it to dealers with superior customer satisfaction in sales and service. So they know how to take care of customers better than anybody. Now, what these guys know how to do also, keep this in mind, sell trucks. Lewisburg Ford has sold more F-150s than any other Ford dealership in Greater Kansas City. That's 2 years running. And last year, they were the #1 F-150 sales leader in the entire state of Kansas. So, no hassle. $50 over invoice pricing, unparalleled customer satisfaction, and a huge selection. That's a perfect recipe for selling trucks. So, check out all their inventory and prices online at lewisburgford.com or give them a call at 816-444-2300.
New golf clubs, a big screen TV to watch the U.S. Open, or maybe even a new golf cart that I've got my eye on.
No matter how you choose to spend the savings, if you're looking to put a dent in your monthly heating and cooling bills, the answer may be right over your head. If your attic isn't insulated properly, you're missing out on a prime opportunity to cut costs. Call the certified energy experts at Star Companies, Inc., 816-353-2160 for a free estimate to learn how they can help you save money. 816-353-2160 or visit starcompanieskc.com.
Hey, welcome back, Golf Underground. Here in the stable, George, show us what you're doing.
What are you doing?
That's Hall of Famer George Brett, number 5.
And not only come and watch us play golf, but you might want to come watch the football team this year. They're really good.
Oh my God.
How's our football team going to be this year?
I think we're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
We're going to score some points. We don't practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I try to go over to practice and watch. And we have some offense. I don't spend a lot of time with defense because I don't know the D coordinator as well as I know the offensive coordinator. Right. But we have some athletes. We look like a team.
Wow.
I'm excited.
What a turnaround.
Yeah.
That's the greatest turnaround in Division I football in the history of football. Oh, my God. I remember betting on them. The over-under was 1. Yeah. And they won one game, and it was the last game of the year, and they beat Texas.
I remember
the spread was 31. The spread was 31, and they beat them outright.
And then in your basement.
Yeah.
That's when their coach got fired the next day.
Yeah, he got fired on the tarmac.
So going back to these, we get asked a bunch of times about the golf bags, the head covers, all the good stuff. So
show the listeners.
This? So it's obviously a head cover, but how do you get it? You become a partner of...
Yeah, so we have Jayhawk golf partners, and they're basically supporters of Kansas men's golf. And, back 7-8 years ago when we started raising money for the building, Chris Wilson and I said, we need to figure out a way to recognize these guys, thank these people for donating money. So we started Jayhawk Golf Partners, and, we try to get cool swag, support the team, represent the brand. And so it's kind of evolved in its own deal. And, it's a lot of fun, incredible support. People that may play golf, don't play golf, whatever, but they're Jayhawks and they just want to help out.
Okay, so what's it cost? What do you donate to get one of these things?
Oh, I would
$5,000.
I think $5,000 will get you a set of head covers, but
and anything else besides head covers? How about balls? Unlimited balls for a year.
Oh, that's probably $20,000.
Oh God, I played in the 70s, the 80s.
I've got Sully down pledging $5,000. I got George. I'll
do $5,000. I'll do $5,000, but I want balls. I want balls.
Unlimited balls for $5,000.
I want unlimited balls.
Hey, you keep your balls. I'll give them some golf balls.
Do you take beacon bucks?
No, we don't.
We got Sully pledged for 5.
You mentioned you got a new assistant coach. Yes. Can you come in and talk about the assistant coach here, Coach?
Yeah, Coach.
I never met him, honestly. So, Coach, take it away.
Yeah, Tony Blake played at Wichita State, coached at Wichita State, moved up to Kansas City because his youngest daughter was a soccer player, and they were driving back and forth and thought, why are we living in Wichita? Great guy, works hard, good eye for talent, incredible instructor. He recruited at Wichita State kind of the players that we get. We're developmental, but he's not afraid to go out and recruit the big names and get in the mix. I like him because he's young enough. He's on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff that I don't do and a lot of young kids do. So we've got a lot of activity. I think he's doing a great job. He was replacing Chris Wilson was really difficult. Chris was coached about 8 years at Kansas, 7.5, I think. Did an incredible job developing people. But I think Tony fit right in, and he's working hard.
That's great. Hey, what's your take on ASU, U of A, Colorado? You got some new
we got the
Southern
Buffaloes
competitors
back in the conference.
The Buffs are back.
Ooh,
yeah.
the Buffs.
Got Roy Edwards coming back to the Big 12.
Roy's a KU guy, played at KU. I think they're excited to be back. I think it's great for the conference. It's a hard golf conference. There's a lot of great teams, so I don't think it'll affect. We only play once a year, basically, our conference tournament, so it's not like it impacts our travel or whatever. But conference schools kind of take care of conference schools, so it may give us some access to other tournaments. So,
will you go to U of A or ASU?
Yeah, we will.
That'll be
Definitely.
fun, huh?
Okay, well, let me ask you a question about these head covers because I never put mine on once I take them off because they're too hard to get them back on. Can you make these things a little bigger? Seriously. I mean it's a joke trying to get your driver on this thing.
Yeah, that's $10,000 for a big
$10,000
Everyone's
for XL.
customs.
I like those knit ones better. You remember the knit ones? What that you could just slide them on so easy?
George, they haven't
How
made
do you
knit
get
head
those
covers
on?
in 30 years.
I know it, but these are too hard to put on.
That's why I don't put them on.
They're just going to fall off. So they have the little tie bits here.
But they're too hard to put on. What's crazy? I take mine off, my driver off every time. I throw it in the back basket of the cart because I don't walk. I'm too old to walk. And then I have a really baggy one that I keep on my 3-wood. And then if I use my 5-wood, I take the 5-wood off and put the baggy one on. And I wish they made them a little bit easier to get on.
It sounds like his golf bag looks like a bouquet of flowers with all this head
so
covers.
bad.
Speaking of, what
It's
does your
so
wife do,
bad.
George?
What?
She's a florist.
Florist. Yeah.
Flowers.
Well, she doesn't make flowers. She owns the flower store. Believe me, she doesn't make
But
them.
I think the problem is, George, those drivers are getting so big.
Yes.
And you guys are cheating by playing with those. I mean,
George,
the
go
sweet
back to
spot
a
is
smaller
massive.
driver.
Yeah.
Adhere to the head
I
cover.
guarantee you that persimmon driver will
That'll
fit
fit.
in that.
I got one. I got an old one at home. Wood.
My Nike rental will.
All right, should we hit?
Okay.
Should we hit?
Hit him with a rapid fire. Come on, babe.
You got anything, or you want me to?
I only got one.
All right.
Not really
Here-
rapid fire. It's not
Last
super.
question on that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Okay,
All
I'll
right.
do last one.
So here we go. A little Sheridan's Unforked, eating good, feeling good. Wow. Rapid fire for Coach Burns. Here we go.
Look at this improv.
All right. So the best ball striker you've ever seen. Rapid.
On my team, or is this
In general.
anybody? Victor Hovland.
Other than Charlie Hillier,
Rapid question.
the best short game.
Chase Hanna.
If you had to pick anyone in the world at this moment to hit a 10-footer for you, who would it be?
Zach Johnson.
Oh, wow.
Dang it, I thought you were going to pick me.
If you didn't coach college golf, what sport would you coach?
I think I'm a hell of a basketball coach.
You kind of have that swag.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'd like that salary that Coach Self makes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes right with it.
We all would.
If you could pick a dream from all the schools you've had, a dream foursome of players, and you can exclude these two knuckleheads, who would it be?
Oh, I'd probably take Ben Pettit at Drake because he was probably the best there. Unfortunately, Zach played behind him. Martin Laird at Colorado State. And probably, since I can't take Team Hillier because that would be a feism, I'd probably take Chase and let him ask 400 questions on the first tape.
Unbelievable. All right, go ahead.
I got one. It's not really rapid fire, but from the 12 years you've been at KU, if you had to pick the 5 best players and put them forward into a national championship tomorrow, who would you pick?
And please don't say Harry. Please.
George, he set me up on this.
I know it because he thinks you're going to say his name.
Yeah.
Put him as Indy.
Yeah. Can we take 6? I'll take Harry as the Indy.
You're an Indy.
You know, I obviously I think Chase, Big 12 champion, needs to be in there. I will certainly take Charlie Hillier.
There you go, Jim.
I would take Harry. I think I would take.
This is where we struggled today.
Yeah. You know, as my 5th man, I would take the 5th lowest stroke average in KU history and Ben Siegel.
Wow. Good call.
Yeah.
What about the guy, the lefty that we played with once in a while here? That's won
Davis
everything.
Cooper?
Yeah, Davis Cooper. What about him?
He's hard to.
He's a good player.
You know, he's like Brian Harmon. He
doesn't impress you, but he wins.
He doesn't, but he won.
Yes, I mean he's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
I caddied for Kevin in the Watson, and we played with him, and I walked out of there going, I'm not that impressed. He ends up winning it, but God, the guy is a good player.
When you add up the score, it says 66.
Yeah, he's really good.
6.
Davis is hard to keep off there. I'll tell you, my glue guy, Drew Shepard, didn't look the part.
No, I've met him.
Really
I've met him with you guys.
Awesome guy. I mean, he was like the QB. He was like the point guard. Andy Spencer was awfully good too, in his time. So there's multiple.
Drew's golf swing though just looks like a wet octopus falling out of a tree.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ben Welly.
careful. Stop it.
I think Ben Welly.
I own that brand.
I saw you guys all last year. It was last year or 2 years ago. I saw you at El Dorado in Palm Springs.
Last
when
year.
I was there. That was last year. How do you book those trips? I know Jack Clevenger probably set that up for you, right?
You know, Kent McCarthy is a huge KU
Kent
guy.
So you guys went and played his course.
Yeah, we stayed
up there.
We stay with Kent and Missy.
Yeah.
At their, it's not a house; it's a compound.
Right.
So
the whole team stayed there.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. We don't stay in.
We got to upgrade, George. We got to upgrade.
Yeah. I've known Kent for years.
Missy, yeah, he's a great guy.
I've known
and
Kent
a
for
huge
years.
KU guy.
Yeah.
So, but Jack, Frank Kirk, we play at the Quinta Country Club. Played Stone Eagle with Kent. And,
wow.
You know, that's just an awesome trip for the guys. Play at the plantation. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, if you guys get to Arizona this year, I will make sure you guys are welcome at Whisper Rock.
Can you get Drew Stoltz in the group too?
Yes.
Just so he can tell stories.
Yes.
Because I
and
think,
Colt Nost if they're in town.
I don't know if we can handle both of them.
No, if they're in town, and then maybe we'll do a dinner one night. That would be awesome.
Coach loves long dinners.
Long dinners.
He loves. George can cook. Amazing.
How many guys travel with you on your team?
You know, we usually take 6, 5 with an Indy.
Yeah. What's an Indy mean?
So they play in the tournament.
Individual.
But they don't play for the team score. So they're gaining experience. They're on the team. They're traveling.
So you got 7 guys.
No, we still have 6.
6. Okay.
5 plus 1.
5 plus 1 is 6.
Now you know how he beats me in golf.
Yeah. I think he's doing some sharp math.
All right, what do you say?
Wrap it up, Sol.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, so Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun. Always good to see George and Kevin, and obviously Team Hillier.
Getting up digs at Harry, or you want to do an extra?
You know, Harry, what was your favorite class in college?
Yoga, because I got a C in it, and it was attendance. All attendance. I missed like 8 classes or something.
He's the only guy that's ever gotten a C in yoga.
In yoga.
Ever in the history of Kansas.
And it was on a Thursday morning, so dollar night Wednesday. No chance of making it at 8 a.m. No chance.
College golf is hard.
Oh my God. I feel for you, my friend. You weathered the storm. If you can get through this guy,
You can coach anyone.
We're all downhill from here.
the rest
What's your
is
greatest
just,
achievement ever?
My greatest achievement, I said it before, is Harry Hillier graduated from college.
Yeah.
By far, I don't even know what second place is.
Now
Charlie,
I'm
are we
just holding
playing
down the
this week?
stabes.
Yeah. Now you're running the stabes.
Yeah, I'm running the stabes and still need a raise.
all right, we got more fun. Golf Underground. Wardo, we got Hillier, George, Coach Bermel, and Harry. Come on and see us next week because we're going to have Neil Smith coming to join us next week.
God,
with a little,
how great is that?
A little Chiefs pregame, right?
That would be unbelievable to get Neil next week. 'Cause
Yes.
they have their last preseason
Yes.
game this week, and then we'll get some insight. He was here today picking up a new driver and
Yeah, he's got a couple Super
new
Bowl
shaft,
rings.
and
and he's got hands like a
Oh, my God.
monster, doesn't he? Crazy.
I didn't even
Like
know
my
Neil
little
played
baby
golf.
hands.
but-
Look at my little
Yeah.
baby hands.
I know it.
You wonder why I'm a double
That's
digit
amazing. No
handicap.
wonder your wife's a golden girl.
Harmon
I
looks
bet
like
her
Neil's.
is your daughter's hands bigger than yours?
They are, and so are Harry's. That's why I wouldn't let her date him. All right, see you next week at a Golf Underground.
We used to see each other out, me and his daughter.